The reason that I still have Jokic number one is I think he leaves defenses truly helpless in a way that nobody else can. You said one of the strongest guys ever, and not just elite touch shot making, the best touch shot maker in and around the paint we have ever seen in the history of basketball. We'll get into that in a second, but his efficiency on floaters and hooks and turnarounds, it's unfathomable. You can't conceive of the fact that a guy could be that great at scoring in that range. And so the efficiency that Jokic has because of that is the separator. It's not about how much do you score. It's about how unstoppable are you as a scorer. And I still think Jokic is number one in the unstoppable category. But if you want to argue Luka, that's fine. I'll hear it. He is a historic scorer who, I mean, has been on a historic pace year after year after year, and now is clearly the best he's ever been.
Yeah, and the thing, too, with Jokic, the distinction is I just think he draws a little more attention. Both of these guys draw a ton of attention, and they're also great playmakers out of it. That's what's so remarkable about both of these guys is the fact that, and that's a component, too, that I think people need to wake up and realize. Like, I think when we normally conventionally think about playmakers, it's just great, like, pure passers. And Jokic and Luka are two great pure passers, too. But the reason that they're so great is because they are dominant scorers, and they command so much attention from defenses. Like,
yeah,
dude, I think if Jokic wanted to, he could put up 40 to 50 a night. You know what? If he wanted to play wilt ball.
What did he do when the Suns tried to stick dudes in single coverage against him? He literally did it.
True. And they were like, we're going to let him beat us. And it worked for a couple of games, but it's like.
Not really. I mean, it was Book and KD going insane.
Yeah,
the
going
Nuggets
crazy.
Offense
True.
was cooking. Jokic was giving him 40-something on, like, insane efficiency.
Right back.
Yeah.
But he gets so much attention that he is forced to kick out. But they're great advantages that he creates because he's such a great scorer. If you don't send that second guy, guess what? Boom. Easy little hook shot. Like, it's. Jokic does. He's got some of the greatest touch I've ever seen. It's transcendent. He's got impeccable footwork. You combine that with the fact that he is so freaking strong, man. That is the one trait that just stands out above all of the rest is that he is country strong. He is farm strong. And, yeah, man, Jokic to me is it until further notice. Until we see.
Agreed.
Until we see Luka do something like that on the playoff stage or really take him down, I think it's got to be Jokic, man. Or, if his jump shot completely leaves him for this playoff run, which I just don't, I trust it. You know what I mean? I trust Jokic's shot to be back in time for the playoffs and to translate. And that ultimately is the difference, is the fact that when Jokic really does want, he can go on the low block and he can get anything he wants at a moment's notice because he's so strong and has that great touch. That's the little distinction to me that gives Jokic the edge over Luka.
Yeah, I mean, he is just simply put even more physically imposing and even on another level as a touch shot maker. And Luka is unbelievable. But these numbers, dude, 62% on floaters for Jokic, 60% on hooks, 56% on two-point jump shots overall, 58% on turnaround jumpers. At 7 feet, 280 pounds, what can you do with that? Like, that is not supposed to be possible. And that is why nobody can handle him out of the post, because of that touch shot making that we've never seen before, with being maybe the strongest guy in the league, with awesome footwork and fakes and the ability to create just the sliver of separation that he needs for these shots. I don't think there's a single basketball player on the planet who you feel more helpless against in single coverage. And what's crazy is Jokic's better skill is his passing. Like, that's why he is so clearly the best offensive player on the planet. And I legit would argue the best half-court offensive player ever. We've had that conversation. No matter what, you are going to die. You're going to die. And that is why he had this run where he's giving you 30 a night on better than 63% true shooting, and he goes through Rudy Gobert and Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo, and every single one of them is helpless against him in single coverage. Then also, he's an incredible off-ball player. He's one of the best pick-and-roll scorers in basketball because, well, then those floaters are automatic, or he can pick and pop, and there are stretches where his jump shot leaves him, but it's generally pretty lethal, and in the playoffs, it's been lethal. He's a 41% three-point shooter in his postseason career. And then when you think about what he can do moving off ball, spot up, he's consistently very efficient. Curling off screens, he's just a fantastic shooter. even like initiating from the perimeter, stuff that isn't central to his game, but he's an 80th percentile isolation scorer. He is a 77th percentile pick and roll ball handler, the inverted pick and roll, how he can hunt mismatches there, and his shot making is just supreme. And again, it's not about regular season volume, it's about playoff scoring. How does it translate? And since Jokic reached his peak, he has been the best playoff scorer on the planet. And that's not just talking about like, oh, skill set. I mean, the production and efficiency, over 30 points per game on 62% true shooting. Only Kawhi and Luka are in that tier overall between volume and efficiency. But what he's doing is more efficient than Luka. And it's because, again, he gets to these shots that he just doesn't miss. So I still don't think anybody can match him. I do agree with the one case you laid out for Luka. If you get Jokic, who's shooting the 3 ball at the level he was at the end of the 2022 season into the playoffs, right? If he's only shooting 28% on 3, so teams don't have to respect the pick and pop looks in the same ways, that changes the dynamic. But he's coming off of a run in which he was 46% from 3. And historically in the playoffs, he really does deliver there. He just dials in. And when he dials in, it's over for anyone, for everyone. When you don't get Jokic being like, maybe I'll see if I can get 20 assists tonight and only take 6 shots. When you get Jokic saying, okay, I'm doing whatever it takes to win, that means that he's going to obliterate you. So I just don't think there's anybody more unstoppable, and that is why he is still number 1 for me.